Hey everyone, 3Card Style here again. Today we're going to do things a little bit different and we're going to go through my Gecko Moria deck build. So I decided to go with Gecko Moria for my very first deck to play with, simply because it's one of the leaders from the OPTCG pack that I've been opening a lot of lately, and honestly Thriller Bark was one of the, I guess, more different and captivating arcs out of the series to date, based on the leaders from OPTCG. Also, from what I can tell, there's a lot of cards in the OPTCG pack that helps for building this deck, so I was able to get a great head start with that. So I'm going to go through the process that I went through of getting a baseline for the deck that I'm going to build, the initial cards that I played with, the process I went through to kind of fine-tune that, and then my final deck build. So I'll also include a mock battle or an online battle at the end, just so you guys can get an idea of what it kind of looks like and how it plays out. And as a special little feature, when I went out to one of the local stores to acquire some cards for my deck, the person I spoke to was nice enough to give me some promotional cards. So I will be going through these at the end and we'll see what we get. Awesome, so without further ado, let's rip! Alright, so I'll throw up a photo for you guys of the deck build that I use. So that's from the OnePiece.gg website. So they seem to have a pretty good assortment of the different leaders and the different meta decks that people have built. So you can build your own deck through there, I believe, and then save it, and other people can look at that. So that was definitely really handy, and it just gives you a really good and easy way to see the decks. So I just used that one to start myself off, and based on all the cards that I'd pulled so far, this is the deck that I managed to build myself. Alright, so I've downloaded myself the OPTCG Sim. So for those of you that don't know, it is a very popular One Piece TCG Sim that you can get on Windows, Mac, Linux, Android, Apple, pretty much anything. So you just simply Google OPTCG Sim, and there's a website that gives you a very in-depth explanation on how to download the sim and play. So I've used this to show you my initial deck build and my process through which I have developed my Gecko Moria deck, because it's a lot easier to show rather than sprawling it out in the limited space I have with the actual cards. So we'll start off with just the general cards that I've managed to pull together from the template that I found online, which I will throw up on screen, and then the additional cards that I've pulled together based on what I've pulled to date and tried out to see how it goes. So obviously we got our Gecko Moria Leader, which is a 5 life, 5000 power leader. So you give him 1 Don, then when attacking you rest another 2 Don. Then you discard 1 card from your hand and put the top 2 cards of your deck into the trash. So you basically trash 3 cards, 1 from your hand, 2 from top of your deck, and then you play 1 Thriller Bark Pirates character with cost of 4 or less from the trash. So it's a good way to get a 4 cost out onto the field. Like, say, for example, you're on your second round, you played first, you got 3 Don. You can basically cycle through 3 Don and get 1 4 cost character from your hand straight onto the field, or from your trash if it happens to be one of the trash of the ones that you pulled in. So it's a pretty good early stage one, and also for later on down the track to be able to just get that additional 4 cost down. I'd say it's most beneficial with a 4 cost, and obviously has to be a Thriller Barks Pirates type card. So then we got the 2 Kuzans. So he's a 4 cost 5,000 power. He's on play, he's just draw 1 card, so it's could be handy to just get that additional resource in hand. But where he truly shines on the black deck is when he's attacking, you give up to one of your opponent's characters -4 to their cost during this turn. So as I go through some of the other cards and their effects, you'll see how this would be really beneficial in this deck. So there's 2 of those. Then we got 4 1 cost 0 power Tsuru. So she's a 2,000 counter, and her on play effect is give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 to their cost during this turn. So again, it could be a good one to put on out early game, but this one I would be more inclined to have in hand as a counter. So you can never have too many counters just in case these attacks are getting thrown at you. So it's a handy one to have. Then we got 4 cost 5,000 power Borsalino. He's a 1,000 counter, and his effect is he's a blocker to start with, and then also on your opponent's turn, this character gains +1,000 power and cannot be KO'd by effects. So he's a pretty powerful blocker. So basically on your turn, he's a 5,000 power, but as soon as it turns into your opponent's turn, he's a 6,000 blocker. So provided you didn't attack with him, you've basically got a 6,000 body on field to block pretty much any attack, and the only way for him to be KO'd is directly through battle. So very handy to have. So I'll definitely be looking to add more of him. Then we got, we've got the 2 cost 3,000 power brand new. He's a 1,000 counter, and his on play effect is look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 navy type card other than brand new, and add it to your hand, then trash the remaining cards. So it's a good early game one to get down, just so you can cycle through your cards a bit, get a couple of your Thriller Bark Pirates type cards in trash, and hopefully get something like a Borsalino or something in hand. So it'd be handy. So you kind of want to get him down as soon as you can. But yeah, so that's brand new. He's got 1,000 counter, but generally the 2,000 counters are the ones that you're really hanging on to for that counter effect. But obviously, if you're in a pinch, even 1,000 counter will definitely help. Then we threw in this 3 cost 3,000 power Bartolomeo. He's a 2,000 counter and a blocker. So as you may have noticed, he's not part of that other list, but as a filler, I think it is a good one. He's got a 2,000 counter and also a blocker. So it's always handy to have an additional blocker or 2 on hand. Then we got 2 cost 0 power one-legged soldier. So another 2,000 counter, and his main activate on main effect is you may send this character to the trash and give up to one of your opponent's characters cost -3. So again, another good cost manipulation card there. So another just kind of filler to get those additional counters. Then we got 1 cost 0 power Shirahoshi. Again, another 2,000 counter, and the effect is activate main. You may rest this card, then return 2 cards from your trash bottom of your deck in any order. If your opponent has 6 or more cards in their hand, your opponent discards 1. So on one hand, it's a great counter, but also it's handy to attack your opponent's resources, and you can basically do it every round that this card is out. But yeah, another space saver with that one. Then we got 4 1 cost 2,000 power Victorious Sentry. So another great counter, so 2,000 counter, but also a great early game play with the on play effect. So if your leader has Thriller Bark Pirates type, trash 5 cards from the top of your deck. So because this deck relies so heavily on resurrecting your characters and cards from the trash, it's a great one to kind of cycle through, and allows you to basically search your trash for specific cards. So it's a great one to get on early on. Then we got 2 4-cost 5,000 power Dr. Hogback. He's only a 1,000 counter, but his on-play effect is return 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. Then put up to 1 Thriller Bark card other than Dr. Hogback from your trash to your hand. So this one's great to put after, say, Victorious Sentry. So say, for example, you played Victorious Sentry, trash 5 cards from top of your deck, then you get a Gecko Moria in your trash. You play Dr. Hogback, you can get your Gecko Moria back in hand, and you're ready to do some real damage. So I'll get to him in a second. But there's countless ways to kind of utilize a lot of the 4 costs in this deck. So I'll cover the others in a minute, but yeah. So then I just threw in 1 2-cost 3,000 power Tararan. It's a 1,000 counter, and also he has an on-play and on-KO effect. So basically, as soon as you play this character, the effect activates, and then also when he gets KO'd, his effect gets activated again. So his effect is trash top 3 cards from your deck. So similar to the Victorious Sentry, it's just getting those cards from your deck into the trash so you can sift through them a bit easier. So another just space saver with that one. Then we got 4 2-cost 2,000 power Cerberus, only a 1,000 counter, but he's a nice cheap blocker to get out. So again, this one wasn't included in that deck list, but I figured getting a few extra blockers would be very handy. So I've got him there ready to go. Then 1 8-cost 9,000 power Gecko Moria. So this is definitely a must do in the Gecko Moria deck, and probably most black decks. So his on play effect is choose up to one cost 4 or less, and up to 1 cost 2 or less character card from your trash. Play one of them, then play the remaining rested. So basically, you can go through your trash and select 2 characters. One of them has to be 4 cost or less, and the other is 2 cost or less. And then you basically get to choose one to play as active and the other one to play as rested. So basically in this, if I were to play this, I would go through, and if I happen to have a Borsalino in my trash, I'd select him and play him as active, because you can't use him as a blocker if he's rested, so I'd select him. And then as the 2 cost, I might select something like maybe the Cerberus, if I've got him there, as another blocker. So assuming that they don't kill it in the next round, or maybe even something like a Victorious Sentry, just to allow me to cycle through those cards a bit more. Because it doesn't matter if she's played rested or not, you still get to activate that effect. So definitely a very handy one to have there. Then I had 4 cost 7,000 power ores. So this one looks like an interesting one because his main, standard effect is that this character cannot attack. So even though he's a 7,000 power and only 4 cost, he, as a standard, will just sit there doing nothing. So the way to get into attack is you have to activate on the main. You may KO up to one of your Thriller Bark Pirates type characters. Then this character loses all abilities until an end of turn. So basically, you have to sacrifice one of your own Thriller Bark Pirates type characters. So then Oz is then basically unchained and allowed to attack until the end of the turn. So that definitely requires you to cycle through a few sacrificial characters. So say, for example, you played your Gecko Moria, you brought Victorious Sentry on the field, and if you had Oz already, then you could activate his main effect, KO Victorious Sentry. That then allows you to attack with Oz, and then you can send another 7,000 power hit towards your opponent's characters or leader. So As a space saver, I figured that'd be a good one. I put 4 of him in there because I figured it just increases the odds of being able to play him out on field. So then I had 3 2-cost 3000 power Inupe. He's just a 1000 counter, sorry. And he's got an on play and on KO effect as well. So if your leader has Thriller Bark Pirates type, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards from your hand. So basically a deck searcher. So another just space saver with that one. Then got 4 4-cost 5000 power Absalom. So he's a 1000 counter, and I would say he's definitely a critical one for this kind of deck. So his on play effect is you may return 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. Then you can KO up to 1 character with a cost of 2 or less. So cycling back to like the Kuzan, if you had a Kuzan there and you attacked with him, using his effect, drop a character down to by 4 cost. So say your opponent has a 6 cost on field who's doing a bit of damage to you. You use Kuzan's effect against that character, bring him down to a 2 cost. Then you play Absalom and you can remove that character. So definitely very handy in that regards. And like you can bring him back with like the Gecko Moria effect or something like that. Bring him onto field, sorry. So definitely a handy one to have, and a good 5000 power body to have on field. Then we got 2 6-cost 6000 power Brook. So this isn't the standard Brook that people tend to play in the black deck, but it was the only Brook that I had access to with all the pulls I've had. So as you may notice, a lot of these are from the OPO6 booster set. So definitely helped a lot with building this deck. But with the Brook, his effect is on play, you can choose one of the following. So you can either put up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less into their trash. So again, another one that you can work in with those cost reduction effects. Or you can get your opponent to put 3 cards from their trash to the bottom of their deck in any order. So if they're also playing probably a black deck or something that allows them to cycle through their trash cards, you could use this to force them to remove some of their trash cards to the bottom of their deck. So that one's another kind of space saver, but also feel like it could be quite handy with that KOing of a 4-cost or less character. Then we got 2 4-cost 5000 power Peronas, a 2000 counter, so that's nice. But what's even better is her on-play effect is if your opponent has 5 or more cards in their hand, choose one of the following. So you can either choose for your opponent to discard 1 from their hand, so 1 card from their hand, or give up to one of your opponent's characters cost -3 for the turn. So another one that allows you to manipulate the cost of your opponent characters, or you can simply just get them to lose a resource from hand. So typically I feel like I'd probably go with the discard 1 card from hand, but even if they're under 5 cards, it's still a good body to get out on field, or even have as a 2000 counter in a dire situation. So again, I only had 2 of her. Then we got 2 2-cost 3000 power Helmeppo. So he's a 1000 counter, and on play he allows you to give up to one of your opponent's characters -3 to their cost during this turn. So another just standard cost reduction effect. So then we've got 1 cost Ice Age. So this is definitely a must-have with this deck. So the effect is give up to one of your opponent's characters -5 to their cost during this turn. So basically you can play this thing on, say you've got a character on your opponent's side that's a 9 cost. You play your Ice Age for 1 Don, and then you play your Brook for 6 Don, and you can trash that 9 cost with relative ease. So definitely a very handy one. And then if you got 2 Ice Ages, then basically you can take out a 10 cost character with any of your characters that allows you to remove characters with any kind of cost. So definitely a handy one to have. And then he's also got a trigger effect. So for those of you that don't know, a trigger is when you've got your cards in your life, once you get attacked, you collect that card into your hand, and if that card has this yellow trigger mark on it, that means that you can instantly play it. So you don't have to play it, but if you do, you then trash that card after that effect is activated, unless otherwise said so. So with this one, you KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less. So basically it just skips a step and allows you to remove a character off your opponent's side. So I definitely need to get more of those. Then I got 2 1-cost barrier. So this one is a counter. So basically when your opponent attacks, you can play this card for 1 Don, and it gives up to one of your leaders or characters plus 2,000 power for this battle. And if your trash has at least 15 cards, gain another plus 2,000 power. So basically it's a standard 2,000 counter, but if you've got 15 cards or more in your trash, you up that to 4,000. So pretty handy one to have in your hand. I figured, this deck relies so heavily on getting cards in your trash, you shouldn't really have too much problem having 15 cards in your trash to get that additional 2,000 power. And it's also got another trigger. So, whoops. This one, the trigger is just draw 2, trash 1. So it allows you to just kind of cycle through your deck a bit. Then we got, so yeah, that one was a space filler that I feel like would be handy. And then we got 4 2-cost negative hollows. So this one's effect is trash 1 card from your opponent's hand. So basically it's one that allows you to just eat away at your opponent's resources in hand. And also another trigger, which basically you just activate this card's main ability. So basically the advantage of this one's trigger is you can activate this card without paying the Don for it. So yeah, it's a good way to utilize that extra 2 Don and make your opponent, I guess, sweat a little more when you start attacking. And then finally we got that was another space saver, but I feel like that would be very handy with just kind of eating away at your opponent's resources, because that one doesn't rely on your opponent having a certain number of cards on hand like your Perona effect does. But yeah, so then finally we got 2 2-cost shockwaves. So this is another counter, so when your opponent attacks you, you can activate this provided you got the required number of Don, so in this case 2. And the counter is up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 4,000 power during this battle. Then KO up to one of your opponent's active characters with a cost of 3 or less. So not only does it give you 4,000 additional power, it also allows you to KO one of your opponent's active characters. So very, very handy one to have, and is also got a trigger, which is KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. So if it activates as a trigger, you can KO one of your opponent's characters, whether it's active or rested, for 4 or less cost. So a little bit more KO power than actively using it. So definitely a lot of avenues for this card. But yeah, so that was the original deck build based on what cards I had already pulled out of all my deck pulls. So with this deck, I then went through and I did a test match against my wife, who used the ST15 Whitebeard deck that I got from Japan. So it's just a Japanese one that we used just translator through the official One Piece website to get the effects, and based on that I made a few slight alterations to the deck. So my revised deck, so yeah, also with this program, with this sim, sorry, you can do your own deck builds and you can save them as you like and load them up. So that was our first iteration. Then the second one, we've come with this. So we've dialed back on a couple of things. So namely, we dialed back on some of our ores. So I found the ores in that test match that he just takes up too much resources. Like, having one was pretty handy, and I kind of got into a bit of a cycle where I had ores down, then I would KO, I think it was, I would KO Absalom or Dr. Hogback, and then I would use my Leader Gecko Moria effect to then bring him back onto the field. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Absalom. So yeah, used the Gecko Moria Leader effect to bring Absalom back on the field, used his on-play effect only to then KO him again for ores to then attack. So basically we're just cycling through that quite well. So that was handy, but yeah, definitely found that having 4 was too much. Another one that I didn't really find that went well is the barrier card. So it was good for a standard 2000 power counter, but I found I just never had that many cards in trash, because while this deck does work well on trashing cards, it also works really well on pulling cards out of your trash. So I found like I was cycling through my trash cards very quickly, and I honestly never even had probably even 10 cards in my trash at any one time. So I felt like this was a bit wasted on that. So I looked at removing those. I believe I've reduced some of the Cerberus, some of the Inupes, and some others. So we'll just cycle over to the second lot. Yeah, so got rid of most of the Inupes, got rid of one of the Cerberus, down 2 ores, got rid of the barriers, and yeah, that looks like the most of it. So with this, I went to my local one of my local card shops called Game Traders, which is just down the road from me, and I got some advice from one of the guys that work there, who's been playing the game probably for as long as it's been out, and he's a bit of a veteran and was a great source of information. So shout out to Brayden for all your help and your amazing generosity. So in chatting to him, he donated a lot of cards to add to my Gecko Moria deck based on the setup that I had, and some of those cards are the Kuzan. So he gave me an additional 2 Kuzans because he recommended that he goes really well in black decks in general. So a lot of these cards aren't just good for Gecko Moria, but for any black deck. So now I've got a full set of Kuzan, so that is really handy. He also gave me a 6-cost 7000 power Sakazuki. So even though this one wasn't on my radar, he said that this is a pretty critical one for black decks given his effect. So his on-play effect is you may trash 1 card from your hand, then you KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. So he's got a very high KO ability. So this mixed with your Ice Age, you can basically take out anything that your opponent puts down. You know, provided it doesn't have a effect like Borsalino that you can't KO him with effects. Then I got another Tsuru, just to bump that one up a bit. That was handy. Gave me another Borsalino, so definitely very handy to build up him. So I find he's a very critical blocker. The only other one that I need to get for this deck is the Sabo blocker. I believe it's Sabo, so I can't remember what cost and power he is, but I believe his on-play effect is that none of your characters can be KO'd. I'm not sure if that's at all or just by effects or battle, but either way, a very strong blocker to have on the black deck. Gave me another brand new. What else we got? Gave me another 2 Dr. Hogbacks. Another Gecko Moria, so that's good. Need to get a full set of him. Another Perona, and yeah, I believe that's everything. So yeah, I mixed it up a bit, pulled a few of those space savers out, and threw in those cards that he provided me. So in my discussion with him, he also recommended I go out and find myself the ST19 Black Smoker deck, because there's plenty of cards in the Black Smoker deck that are basically vital to any black deck. So with the Black Gecko Moria, Black Smoker, Black Roblucci, let's see what other leaders we got. So any of these leaders would go well with the ST19 starter deck. So I think the main ones that are played out of these ones are probably Gecko Moria. I hear Roblucci is a very strong meta deck to have. Yeah, Marshall D. Teach would be pretty good, so he's a pretty new one from OP09. And I believe there's probably the black-yellow Luffy, or even the straight black Luffy. So there's a whole number of black decks that would really benefit from the ST19 starter deck. So I went out and bought that, and to test out my new setup, I pitted myself up against my wife yet again. She played the ST19 Black Smoker deck, and I played the Gecko Moria deck. And through that, I worked out a few more kinks of what characters are probably not as useful as what I thought they might be, and I pulled out a few extra cards out of that ST19 as well after that to bolster up this current deck. And with that, I believe what I did is I pulled out the Inupe. I took out both the ores because I found that against other meta decks and people that have played for a while, using that cycle that I did in my first match with my wife probably wouldn't really work out quite that well, and I don't feel I'd actually pull him out very often at all, if at all, and just to have him as a sacrificial pawn in my hand, which there's not really any room for in a competitive match. Like, you want everything in your hand to be able to be useful in one way or another. So I ended up pulling both of those out. I removed one Cerberus, so I still want to maintain some low cost blockers in case I go up against a deck like the what is it, green, I think it's green purple Yamato. So I'll try and pull it up here so I can show you guys. So with the green purple Yamato, they tend to come in quite early for the attack. So yeah, so you got green yellow, sorry. So with the green yellow Yamato, they have a double attack. So with the double attack, if they land a hit on your leader, they actually take 2 life from you at once. So being able to get out a low cost blocker early on is quite crucial to be able to defend against early hits from that Yamato. So left 2 of those in there. Took out the Tararan. I believe I took out 2 negative holos and one one-legged soldier. I believe that's the ones I've pulled out, and then added a few others. So this is my current deck now. So I also did some other pack openings and managed to pull a few other cards as well that I've added to the deck. So I also reduced the Kuzan by 1. So now I got an extra Sakazuki. So I got 2 of him. Got 4 Tsurus, 3 Borsalinos. So it's nice and filled out there. Just the one there, as I said. So I got 2 4 cost 6,000 power Hinas. So this one's a pretty good one. So firstly, if you give Hina 1 Don, then on your opponent's turn, this character has +4 cost. So basically, it's a good counter for other black decks that may want to try remove it based on cost value. But where she truly shines is the main effect. So once per turn, you may place 1 card from your trash on the bottom of your deck, then give your leader or up to one of your characters up to 1 rested Don. So this one is really handy to have on field. For example, when on your 10 cost turn, if you've already got Hina on the field and then you play your Gecko Moria, so you take 8 to play Gecko Moria, do his on play effect, bringing another 2 characters on field, then you use Hina's ability to use a rested Don, put it on your leader. So then he's got 1 Don, then you attack with your leader, you rest your 2 remaining Don, and you get to bring another 4 cost or less onto the field. So in that one move, you get the Gecko Moria, 8 cost on the field, plus another 3 characters from your trash. So very, very strong combination of characters and effects. So definitely a great one to have in hand, and just in general, having a character that allows you to utilize your rested Don is always helpful. So I got myself another Perona, so I got 3 of her. Got another Gecko Moria, so 3 Gecko Morias. Then added another 3 Ice Age to fill that out. And yeah, so that is my current deck based on the cards I have. So there's still a little tweaking that I'd like to do once I acquire the cards. For example, getting that Sabo. Actually, I can probably pull him up here so I can show you his effect, if I can find him. Actually, if I just Sabo, here we go. So yeah, 5 cost, 6,000 power Sabo blocker, and on play, your characters can't be KO'd by card effects until the start of your next turn. Then you also draw 2 trash 2. So very, very strong blocker to have. So yeah, another 6,000 power blocker to have on field. But yeah, with his on play effect, it's a great one to have. Then I believe there's also the Lucci. So I believe this is another one that I wanted to add to the deck. So it's a 4 cost, 6,000 power. So his on-play effect is you may place 3 cards from your trash on the bottom of your deck in any order, then KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less, and up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 1 or less. So you get to KO 2 of your opponent's characters, and he's a 6,000 base power card. So very, very strong card to have on your in your deck. Sorry. But yeah, so that's the current deck build, and I'll run through a quick sim game for you guys, just so you can kind of see how this plays out. So just know I haven't played many games, so I will more than likely lose, but we will see how we go. Hopefully, it can prove to at least give you guys a bit of an idea on how this deck works with utilizing your trash and all the Don manipulation. Alright, here we go. So, versing Purple Luffy, I will choose to go second. So what do we got here? Got good cheap blocker, got Borsalino, got some good low cost ones, and yeah, so I think we will keep that and see how we go. So with this one here, I'll probably start off by playing this 2-cost Cerberus, just get an early blocker out. And yep, so yeah, I'll just play Cerberus down, and that way we can kind of stop any early attacks they might be throwing at us. See how they go. So yeah, we got this guy coming in hot with an attack, so I might keep the blocker there for now and then use our Absalom to counter. Just that way, I've got Absalom in the trash now, so I can quite easily bring him out with the Gecko Moria effect if I need to. So I've got quite a few options now for a 4-cost to bring out. These, oh, my turn. Cool. Alright, so might so I can pull out any of these guys. I might bring out Kuzan, so I get that extra draw, and then I could put myself in a good position to try take out some of their characters as I bring them out. So I've already got a blocker down, so that's a good start. And we got a Perona, so that'll be handy to play in the next hand. And then we'll may as well throw an attack their way. See what they do. Yep. So -2 Dawn. Give up one of their. They get plus 4,000 power and drop 2 cards. So the Luffy Leader effect is once per turn on their main, you may take the top card from your life cards to your hand. If the amount of Don on your field is 0 or 3 or more, add up to 1 Don card from your Don deck as active. Okay, so it eats away at your life in order to get a few extra Don down. Alright. So swinging again with the Luffy Leader. So what I might do is might use my blocker this time. Surprised he hasn't put any. There we go. So on play it up to 1 Don from your Don deck as active, and while attacking, choose up to one of your opponent's characters. This character has the same base power as the chosen character for this turn. So even though he's not on 1000, he'll ramp up quite quickly. Alright, so we got our Gecko Moria, so that's handy. So now what we might do is I'll probably swing with my Kuzan to bring their Bon Clay down and then bring the Absalom out using my Gecko Moria effect. So I will place one Don on Gecko Moria, then I will swing with, actually I might, because I've only got 4 costs and higher, so I'll use another 2 Don on Gecko Moria to use his effect, and that'll leave me 3 spare Don. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 cards in hand, so I might throw 2 extra Don on Kuzan, so that way they'd have to put at least 3000 counter, so even though they may still be able to counter this attack, it'll mean that they'll use up a bit of resources in hand. Let's see what they do with that. Oh, yep. And then, oh no, oh no, I stuffed it up. So that's not how to do it, guys. But instead, I will use my backup plan and use Ice Age. So with Ice Age, you -5 from any character. So luckily, I still had that one left. So I'll use that on Mr. 2 Bon Clay. Then use the Gecko Moria to attack life. Then use the card action, trash 1 card. So I will choose to trash my Perona. And then I will bring Absalom out. Then choose 2 cards to, what was it? Return 2 cards from trash to bottom of your deck. So I'll return Ice Age and Helmipo. And then I will trash the Mr. 2 Bon Clay. Cool. So a bit of a waste on my Ice Age, but we all make mistakes, right? So it's still got 3 life, and that will be us for now. And then on next turn, I'll bring out Gecko Moria. So Gecko Moria, choose 1 4 cost and 1 2 cost from trash and play him out on field. 1 is active, 1 is rested. So I'll bring out my Perona and Cerberus. So with Perona, because you've got 8 cards in hand, I'll use the effect to discard 1 card from hand, and then I'll just have that additional blocker out on field. So swinging 6000 to Kuzan, so no blocker, and I'll use my Victorious Sindri 2000 counter. So I'll keep that extra body out. Oh, he's really eager to get rid of that that Kuzan. I might let him take it this time. It's fine. Let's see what he does now. He used his leader effect, I think, so he just drew 1 of his life. So just a standard 4 cost 6,000 power. So draw. Okay, so brand new's just 1,000 counter. Alright, so we got 8 Don. So we'll start off by swinging 5 to Law, just to get that body out. Yeah, I'll go 5 to Law. Sorry, attack. Yep. Then I will do leader to leader, so 5,000 to leader. No doubt he'll actually, yeah, I'll do that. Attack, go leader to leader, 5,000 to leader. He'll more than likely have some kind of counters put down for that. Yeah, so the purpose of doing it this way rather than playing the Gecko Moria and then having him taking cards out of his hand is there's a chance that he may have a event card that may be able to KO one of my characters. So now if I deploy the Gecko Moria, then I can choose one as active. So I'll play a bit risky, but I will play the Cerberus as active, and then I'll play the Perona as rested because the Cerberus is a blocker, so I'd need to have him as active in order to block one of the attacks, and then I'll trash one, get opponent to trash one card from hand. So I'll take him down to 6. Ooh, secret rare Luffy. Cool. So that puts us in a pretty good position. So next hand, I'll probably, depending on what else I draw, I'll probably bring out both Borsalino and Hina, and then distribute some Dons across. So just bring out Borsalino because he's a great blocker to have out. He's probably the best blocker I've got in my deck at the moment. And then Hina's just really good for getting that additional rested Don to be utilized again. But yeah, definitely saw that coming. 6,000, so I might use the blocker for this one. Yeah, so I'll use the blocker, resolve the attack, get rid of Cerberus. Then he'll probably swing with the leader at Perona again, or Absalom. Yep, there you go, to Absalom. So no blocker, and I'll use a 1,000 counter. Resolve that attack. Let's see what he brings out. How many Dons he got? He's got all 10 Don. He's probably gonna play some big body 10 cost card. That's going to make things a bit more interesting. There we go. Oh, he had a second secret rare Luffy. Okay. Oh, he's gonna rush. Yep. Yep, nothing I can do about that. So I have to take that hit. That's okay. Alright, here we go. And draw Don. Alright, now let's see what have we got. So unfortunately there's nothing that I've got that can reduce the cost of their characters for the time being. So I'll bring these two guys out and I'll keep Absalom on reserve as either a counter or until I've got something that can manipulate their character costs. So I've got 10,000 there. So what I might do first is I might swing So I'll put 1 Don on Absalom and swing 6,000 to Usopp. It's probably not the best way to play it. Yep, saw that coming. Right. So I'm pretty sure when I play Hina, I can also activate a main on the same turn. So if I give, so I got 6 there. So if I give another Don to Leader, and then I swing another 6,000 to Usopp. Don't use card action. Yep. And then I've got 8 left, so then I will play Hina. So deploy Hina. Then I will place trash card deck bottom. Right, so I will 1 card from trash bottom of your deck. So I will put brand new at the bottom of my deck, and then choose friendly target. So I put Arrested Don on Gecko Moria with 10,000. Then I'll swing that to his secret rare Luffy. Yep. Definitely probably could have played that a lot better than I did, but that's okay. So that's all we'll do for now, and we'll see how we go. So he'll probably swing his secret rare Luffy to my Gecko Moria. So I might save my Borsalino for when he does that and sacrifice him. Oh. Nice one, Dawn. Okay, he's got a full field out now. Oh, okay. Okay, that's unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. Bye bye Gecko Moria. Yeah. Yeah, not much I can do about that. Yeah, you got me good there. Definitely some silly moves on my part. I'll keep him out, at the very least. Okay. Let's see, what have I got here? So I've got a Absalom, so if I get one down to 2 cost or less, I can get rid of them. So with that, it'll give me a 7 cost I can get rid of. So I can get rid of their Luffy Taro. Get this one. They haven't got enough stuff out on field. So I guess the best course of action is to bring out the Absalom with the Ice Age. Alright. So you've got 3 cards in hand, so assuming there's... So he's got no blockers, he's got 2 life, so if I can swing all 3 to life successfully, I will win on default. So 2, 4, 6, so up to 11,000. So if I put 5 Don on Hina, that kind of starts it up. So I might start with actually on Hina because she's got the most. So I'll do is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on Hina. So I'll swing attack life with 11,000. Okay, so it leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I play this, then I can activate Hina's ability and put a rested Don on the leader and then rest 2 more. So I'll require 3, so I've got 2 up my sleeve. So I might put 1, 2 on Absalom and attack leader with that. I'll probably counter this with how long he's taking. And not a great position to be in right now with only 1 card in hand. So he's definitely not going to be out this round, but yeah. So I'll go through and take out his Luffy Taro. So activate Ice Age on Luffy Taro. Then I'll activate Hina's ability, trash 1 card. So move 1 card to the bottom of deck. Then add that to Gecko Moria. So then I'll swing 6,000 to Monkey D. Luffy. Oh, I've got no cards in hand. Oh no! Oh, mistakes were made, guys. Mistakes were made. Like I said, I'm definitely not the most experienced at this, so please go easy on me. But hopefully it's giving you guys a bit of a picture on how this deck works. Yeah, definitely not a great position to be in. Oh, what do we got here? Activate main ability. Yes, please. So I just took out one of the cards from his hand. So at least he's not in a best position either. And what do we got? Borsalino, nice. If I can survive that long. So I'll do another 2 hits. No blocker. Resolve. Got a brand new. Let's see. Yeah, I think I might have lost this one, guys. Oh. Interesting, he didn't swing with his Luffy. Oh, that's not end turn. Okay, we got Sakazuki, so that's a good one. So I can take out a 5 cost, so what's the most detrimental one here? So it's probably the Usopp, so I can take it out. And that takes out all of my cards. Unless there's anything in here that I could utilize. Bring an additional counter into my hand. No, I don't think this is a lost cause at this point, so I might just swing to life, try to get something, and then play those 2 and, oh, of course, deploy Sakazuki, use card effect, Trash one card from hand, of course. Deploy and turn. So yeah, I'd be very surprised if he doesn't beat me on this round. 0 cards in hand and 1 blocker. So I may as well. No blocker, resolve. And I got a 2000 counter, so that's nice. 8,000, not enough. Oh, another 2,000, so 4,000. And that's it. Now that we've gone through all of that, I believe it is time to treat you all to our promotional packs. So I have no idea what are in these ones. So we've got 2 of these judge packs, volume 4, and we got 4 tournament packs, 2025 volume 1s. Cool. So again, shout out to Brayden for being generous enough to giving us these. And yeah, I guess let's see what we got. So this will be my first time opening promo packs. So we got Ohm. Ooh, that's cool. So it's a 4 cost, 5,000 power, 1,000 counter, and it's got a cool little One Piece card game judge logo on it. Cool. So the effect of this one is if you have 2 or less life cards, this character gains plus 1,000 power. That's handy. And also on play, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 holy, and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order and play up to 1 holy from your hand. Wow. So it's I guess a searcher. That's cool. Sorry about that. Looks like we had a bit of space issue. Alright, so now we go on to our second one. And let's see what we get. Hopefully we get a different one. Alright, and then our second one is Viola. 3 cost, 3,000 power, and 2,000 counter. Nice. So I don't know if this is different artwork to what the standard ones are, or if it's just got the extra little detail there. So that's pretty cool. And then we go into our tournament packs, 2025 volume 1s. So we got 4 of these, and it looks like there's 4 different ones that you can get as well. So who knows, we might be lucky enough to get all 4 straight out off the bat. First one there, and we got Sanji, 4 cost, 5,000 power. Cool. So this one doesn't have any note on it calling it up as a tournament. Okay, so we got the Sanji. Then we got Charlotte Pudding, 4 cost, 4,000 power. Cool. So we got 2 of 4. So See if we can continue our luck. There we got Hitakori Kamazo. 4 cost 5,000 power. Cool. Nice. So, one more, and hopefully this is the fourth of the tournament promos. Okay. And final one we got. There we go, Kaku. 4 cost 5,000 power, 2,000 counter. Awesome. So there we have it, guys. So we got our 4 tournament 2025 promos. And then our 2 judge promos. So we got the Ohm and the Viola. Awesome. Well, I hope you guys managed to get something beneficial out of this video, and you guys enjoyed it. I know it was a bit of a longer video, so thanks to any of you that have stuck around for this long. Let me know in the comments how you guys feel about my current deck build. If you guys have any suggestions, or if your decks are similar, or if you guys just think that I've completely butchered my deck build, that'd be great too. Give us a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Awesome, until next time.